Okay,
Yo.
ladies and gentlemen, and everyone out there, welcome to the GamerZone podcast. It's been a while. We missed you. I specifically missed you. All of you. My children. But, yeah, no, it's been a while. I think it's been 3 or so months since the last episode of the podcast went live. It's been quite the crazy world since then. Um,
Yeah, just a little bit.
yeah, we've had a lot of things up the alley of what we actually talk about, though. That is finally, um, something we've got time to talk about. Over the past couple months, we've mostly been playing video games on this channel, and we intend to still do plenty of that. But tonight and then later Tuesday night, if all still goes as planned, we're going to be continuing the podcast to the best of our abilities. And today I just figured we'd have a show where we mostly just kind of focused on the wonderful and wild world that is just kind of the
Gaming.
summer of not E3. And I think that's the best way
Yeah.
to put it. Um, because this is above all else the summer that E3 died. I don't really think that the event under the same name is going to come back as it did, but that's a topic for much wider discussion later. I believe now we can kind of get into our little introductions with our ever so fancy new branding. Now, sadly, I got a message from Dean that was about 3 hours ago. He sent me a message and he said I'm about to I think I'm about to pass out. And when I saw that message, it was 2 hours later, and he was last seen 2 hours ago. He's last seen 3 hours ago. So I hope he's enjoying his nap. I think, given how early, like I woke up at 6 a.m. and Dean was talking to me, and he's an hour behind me. So I think he might have pulled an all-nighter. And did that while
Huge
working on
chance.
um, some of the new podcast art, which is not fully finished, as you can tell on the screen, but we got our style. We're vibing, and if we're vibing, that's all that matters.
Vibing.
We
Yeah,
vibing.
yeah. So tonight, we've got myself, we've got Matt, and we've got Jordan, our rootin' tootin', and by God, he's shooting cowboy.
Yes. I'm a cowboy now. You gotta live with that.
Now I gotta live with the fact you're a cowboy now, Jordan, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeehaw, partner.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
But
So,
so, yeah, just kind of figuring out, just really how we were going to handle the podcast and its place and things as we went on was a little tough. And so we're still going to work out a schedule here. I don't know if we're going to focus on Tuesday or Thursday as the podcast day. Both of them really do work for me at the end of the day, but it's also a matter of everybody else's schedule. Like if I host it at 8:30 EDT every single Thursday night, then we're not able to get Scott back on, and it's things like that where it's like, do I alternate? What do I do? So
yeah.
we're still working all that out. But I guess we can kind of, I guess really, even since we just have the three of us here now, which is also makes this the smallest roster we've ever had for a podcast episode. I guess I might as well just have everybody just kind of do their introductions with how things have gone for them since we had our last episode. So Jordan, you want to go first? Tell us how the past 3 months have gone for you.
Um, pain, suffering, being stuck in a mask.
Yeah,
I think we've all basically gone through the same things. Besides that, just more pain and suffering. That's basically been my life.
Same though. Same.
do you guys need a hug? I mean, I don't know if I can. Like, it's got to be at least 6 feet away, but like, I mean, I can
Nah,
offer up a hug.
nah, it's chill, man. Real talk. Been, I've basically just been gaming and going to work. Basically, my same schedule that I had before the Corona. Well, actually, am I allowed to say the virus name?
I mean, I don't see why not. I think you're allowed
The
to.
Budweiser.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright,
the Budweiser.
Budweiser. Yeah.
Oh my
I,
goodness.
I don't remember all the technicalities and stuff. So, um, anyhow, yeah, basically, bad virus thing hasn't really affected my life too terribly much. Besides having to wear a mask, other than that,
Yeah,
I'm
I,
still
I
going to
can get
work and all
that.
that.
I can get that. In my neck of the woods, things have been roughly same as it ever was. Now that things are kind of halfway back to normal here in Ohio, though we do have a mask mandate out now. Though I mean, I was wearing one anyways,
Same.
so it's like it doesn't change much for me.
Yeah.
The fun thing about working in what is technically considered healthcare, even though I am in the culinary department, is that you get to experience all these fancy high-end rules and regulations before everybody else. You know, and so it's quite the world I'm living in.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
feel like it got worse up there, anyways, than it
uh,
did down here.
it's Ohio's in this interesting situation where, because we locked down first and we locked down incredibly hard, it didn't spread too terribly much up until the reopening when things started to get a little off the rails. Um, in my area personally, though, where I am right now, we're pretty much under control, but we'll see how things go over time. But, anyways, now that we've discussed fear, suffering, agony, and a deadly global pandemic, how about we discuss video games? Because I feel like that might be a good way to numb the pain.
Talking about just gaming.
Yeah, something like that. So over the past couple of months since we had the last show, I mean, we had like all sorts of different not E3s, you know? Like you had ones like Jeff Keighley's, what's his called? They all have like really similar names too. Yeah, Jeff Keighley's is the Summer Game Fest. IGN had the Summer of Gaming. Then there were a couple smaller ones as well. Some of them were hosted by individual companies, like EA still had their EA Play event. Then, but most companies did seem to fall under Jeff Keighley's umbrella there. Sony went and did their own thing with the PlayStation 5 unveiling, which we'll talk a bit more about on later. And then I'm trying to think about the others. There was just like copious things. Like I remember there were like 5 or 6 different indie developer focused events full of games that could be that they would normally be shown on the show floor. And then I mean, you know, you can't have a show floor for an all digital show, so a lot of them just had their own different separate digital events. Some of them got involved in demo events, like ones pushed along with the different game festivals on different platforms. I know Xbox is joining in with that. I know Steam has that, and I'm sure it'll spread to PlayStation at some point, and Nintendo will sit in the back asking what a Wi-Fi is.
Yeah, man.
Sad but true.
Man, since the last
Nintendo be
podcast.
hitting us with some good stuff though.
Oh yeah, I mean, since the last podcast, I got a Switch, and it is an excellent little machine. I love it to death. Um, like
Yeah,
my mini hardware review of it would be that it is the first console that I love, not just as a machine to play video games on, but like just like as a piece of hardware itself. The convertibility adds such an insane amount to it. It's actually
It
kind of
Yeah.
really
incredible.
does.
Like it's got a Hulu app on it, right? So like I can click the controllers off it. I can put out the kickstand. I can just set it up on my desk as a mini monitor with Hulu up on it to watch the nightly news if I feel like hating my life. Or I can watch, you know, TV shows. Like, I don't watch much TV, but like I put it on as background noise. So if I can have like a tiny little tablet monitor propped up that I can watch, you know, like a TV, catch an episode of King of the Hill or something on, and then when I'm done with whatever it was that I needed that background noise for, I mean, I just, you know, I go play a video game. It's not that hard, especially when there's so many of them, and some of them just so happen to be Xenoblade Chronicles, which, man, that is something else. I really love that game. I have not finished it yet. I'm Boy, I forget how many hours in. I think it's like 30 or 40 hours, something like that. It's been a couple days since I've played, since I've been so busy as of late, but it's a really, really, really fun game, and probably some of the most fun I've had with an RPG in recent years. Um, I see all these complaints from people about Nintendo's 2020 lineup, and if I'm to be completely honest with you, just play Xenoblade. If you do the side quests, it's long enough that you might as well buy 5 games.
I see.
Sadly, I've still yet to play any of the Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh
I haven't
wow,
played a single
I've-
Xenoblade
I
game.
I haven't either, and I've actually been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
that actually
Yeah.
surprises me. I thought out of all people you would have played some of it, Matt.
I actually have not.
Wow.
Yeah,
I surprised myself on that one.
Yeah, I can highly recommend it, I mean, especially since you've also got a Switch now, don't you? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Now you just need 60 American dollars, which are somehow quite hard to come by every now and again.
Especially when
yeah,
the
you're not
Budweiser,
wrong.
especially when the
They
Budweiser's
don't.
going around.
They stopped growing on my money tree outside.
Oh man, tragic. Now you're gonna have to work for money.
Yeah, man, feels bad.
Uh,
Anyhow, yeah, I've recently started playing more on my Switch again.
hmm.
Both me and Matt has been playing through the new Pokemon games on Switch.
He got Sword, I've got Shield.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. How are you guys liking that so far? I mean, I've heard obviously I've
Matt's
heard
beaten
the
it like 8 times
I've beaten
already.
it twice. I'm beating it for the third time now.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
this is my first time playing through.
Haven't you had your Switch for less than a week?
I
No,
had
he
to switch
beat
before
it,
that.
yeah. he beat it,
Oh,
I used-
okay,
I used-
okay.
I used to own a Switch and I had to sell it for court costs and shit. So
Okay, guys, I heard you say that you got the Switch under a week ago, and if you beat
it was like
Pokemon
2 days
twice,
ago.
oh yeah, so if you beat Pokemon twice in 2 days, then either Pokemon is suddenly a very short game, which I don't remember it being, or you have not slept in the past 48 hours.
I mean, I had been a little sleep deprived.
He may or may not.
I stayed up
gotten
until like 5 o'clock this morning, getting a Pokemon to level 100 on my second day of owning the Switch.
Yeah. He's not even like halfway through the game, and he has a level 100 Pokemon.
And it's a shiny as well.
It's a shiny fungus.
Matt, do we need to have a discussion? Some might call it an intervention.
About what? There's nothing going wrong. There's nothing wrong with what I'm doing, not at all.
I've got my eye on you, Matthew.
As you can see by my my avatar here, I don't have eyes.
Yeah, that's why I've got mine on you. To protect
I think
you
I'm the only
from
one
yourself.
with eyes.
I
in
can't
this
see your
picture.
eyes, so I can't confirm or deny that you have eyes. So
Yeah, I'm the only one that has eyes here. Come on.
I mean, I've got them, you just can't see them. So,
If you can't see it, it don't exist.
really like these avatars. They're looking really nice.
oh yeah.
Too bad Dean's not here to hear
Yeah.
that.
Props to Dean.
Props to Dean.
Thank you, Dean.
Round of applause for the lad. He might be sleeping right now, but in our hearts he's still awake.
Yeah. Sadly, he probably stayed up all night working on that stuff.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of it actually. He put a lot of work into this.
Yeah.
So,
Well, folks, anyways, how about we start talking about some of the
E3?
wonderful events? Yeah, not E3, because this is the summer that E3 died.
we are E3 now.
I mean, if we wanted to host our own E3, I mean, why not? That'd be fun.
Yeah, but we just need people to pay us a small loan of $10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $10 is all we would need to start our own E3. Yeah.
Yeah. Now all we just need, really, is we just need games to announce. I mean, we can host it. We just need games to announce. So how about it? The three of us, we make our own video games to announce at our own E3 replacement. I think that I can go first with my pitch for my game. I think I'm going to call it Gunny McShoot. Um, Now in Gunny McShoot, it's a you might be surprised here. Gunny McShoot is in fact a first-person party game. Okay.
where you use swords, and and there's no guns whatsoever,
How did you read my mind?
bro. Cause I helped you with the game, bro.
I keep forgetting that. Yeah, so there might be some cross contamination here. I don't think we can. I don't think we can announce anything. Actually, we can't announce any games at all. Jordan's a leaker. Jordan is a known industry liar, scum of
As
the
it
earth.
turns out, back when I was like 12 or 13, I took a free course on making games. So I can tell you now that I know how to make a Pong clone. I know really advanced game Pong. Super advanced. So I'm now announcing Pong 2.
Bro. At
You
least
just
it's
go on, Jordan.
I was gonna say Pong 2 is pretty good, but what if there was 40K?
Pong 40K. There we
Yeah, the
go.
40,000th Pong.
Pong
That would
40K.
be the best. That'd be
Warhammer
the
crossover of Pong.
So I think this is a good way to kind of segue into talking about some of the stuff that we've been interested in. Because
Yep.
earlier today, we covered the Xbox 2020 event or Xbox Games Showcase, whatever they want to call it. It's got like 70 different names at this point. I'm not sure which one to use. But either way, I digress. It was a pretty enjoyable showcase all around, and they did end up showcasing a new Warhammer 40K game, which let me go to the list here. I've got a list on a website called e3recap.com for anybody watching who's interested in seeing everything that's been announced over these past couple months. It is the only way to keep track of all this garbage. Um, and I think,
I'm not really a Warhammer guy, but even I got excited at that trailer today.
yeah,
Looked really
Warhammer
nice.
Warhammer 40K Dark Tide, and
yeah, man.
it's a sequel to the Vermintide games as far as I can understand it, which were previously only in Warhammer Fantasy.
Yep, and
Which
then this is a Warhammer 40K version,
yeah,
from what I can tell.
well yeah, and you seem to play as the Imperial Guard. And I don't think we know much more than that. Um, I think that the Vermintide games are really good. From what I've played of them, I apparently heard some iffy things about how Vermintide 2 got handled later in its life, but as I understand the game, from what I had played of it closer to launch, I mean, I had fun. I had a genuine, a huge amount of fun because it's just crazy melee combat. And I'm curious to see how much of that gets held over. I mean, now that I think obviously there's probably going to be a much more of a focus on using ranged
Guns.
weapons. Yeah, because I mean, it's 40K. It's not fantasy, though.
Yeah.
There's that. Let's not underplay some of the crazy cool Warhammer 40K melee weapons, but at the same time, the only characters we know about seem to be just a team of Imperial Guardsmen, and
Yeah.
like the Space Marines. Scott, forgive me for mentioning their name. Uh, tend to be the ones that get into the genuinely bonkers territory when it comes to human characters in 40K wielding melee weapons like power fists and stuff like that. So I'm very curious to see how the playable character roster turns out and what those classes are. Um,
Yeah.
because you've got much less wiggle room than you do in fantasy, I think.
Yeah.
Though I do know way more about Warhammer 40K than Warhammer Fantasy, so I could be wrong in that regard. Um, so, but yeah, I'm quite interested in how things are going to go with it. It seems like a fun game. The Vermintide games are very enjoyable Left 4 Dead sequels that Valve decided would never be, and I'm always down for more of that. I don't know. Especially, like, I'm glad to see that they're using a different setting, just so that, like, nothing against Warhammer Fantasy, because I did really enjoy what I played of Vermintide. Um, though after making two games in the same universe and spending, I want to say Warhammer Vermintide 1 was like 2014 or something. And it's like
Something like
if
that.
that's right, that's like 5 or 6 years of same game in the same universe and endlessly developing updates for it. Like, I can't blame them for wanting to do something a little different, even if it is with the same license. Yeah. I mean, that gives them a lot of potential to try something different with the gameplay. So, should be cool. Should be cool. Fat
It
Shark
was
seems like an okay enough franchise.
2015 was Vermintide one.
Oh, okay. Even still, again, like 5 years. That's quite a amount of time. Um, they showed off a couple other interesting things today. Obviously, what I was most interested in going into the show was Halo Infinite, and as it's really settled on me, I don't fully know how I feel. The gameplay seems good. That doesn't seem to be the issue this time around. Instead, it appears that they took all of my complaints about the Halo 4 and 5 art style and then overcorrected it. Actually, let's say the Halo 4 art style, because a lot of my complaints with the Halo 5 art style have increased tenfold here. And I'm not writing the whole game off because of the art style, but the entire game looks like it is made out of plastic. Now, for what it's worth, there were changes in lighting during the development of Gears of War 4 that in a single month completely changed how that game looked. Because there was like a multiplayer beta where everybody was complaining about rightfully complaining, mind you, about how the shadows were awful and stuff like that. And so, okay, multiplayer beta comes and goes. The retail version of the game looks completely different. And that was a change made in a month. Halo Infinite, I would say at best has like 4 months, probably. But probably much closer to 3 to make changes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, the game itself looks fun. The guns look neat. The actual level design does look really good. I'm still going to play the game, and I'm still probably going to enjoy it, but I look at it and just... I don't know. I mean, I think I set my expectations a little higher than they should have been, in a sense. Because I stuck with this idea that was like, after they showed multiple previews, multiple trailers, and box art that has a different art style, I kind of figured the game would look like that. But I guess I'm wrong.
Well, I thought it looked fine. Like
I mean,
like in my opinion, it reminds me of back of kind of like how Halo 1 looked, but like with better textures and stuff. I kind of like the fact that it's more colorful in a way because it makes it where like the enemies stand out more compared to whenever they're trying to go for a more realistic approach.
yeah,
But
enemy readability being back is really important, and that is going to be a very big thing. So I'm glad about that. Um, but like, how do I put this? You can still have enemy readability and have the game not look like it's made out of plastic.
Yep.
Personally, I kind of like the art design that they're going for with.
Hmm.
I'm indifferent. I've never really been a Halo person, so I'm pretty indifferent about it.
So Matt, we want to change that?
What do you mean?
You know, the whole not playing Halo thing.
Well, I mean, I've played Infinite. That's about the only one I've
No, you
played.
have not played
Yeah,
Infinite.
you've not played Infinite.
What?
Infinite's not out.
Oh.
Oh, the echo on you guys is getting really bad right now. There's a delay between you
Sorry.
two.
That's because
You're gonna have to take. You're gonna have to
No,
take
I
turns.
meant Reach. I didn't mean Infinite. I meant Reach.
reach.
Reach is a good one, but 3 is the best one.
He's reaching infinitely.
Reach is the only Halo I've played. It was all right.
I'll try to with dot yell from here on out. I apologize. Oh, can I talk about a recent release?
You know, that
There's
laugh from Matt has me concerned. Go on.
It's a game on Steam that was released on the 7th of this month called
Nope, nope,
effing
no, no, nope,
simulator.
nope, 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 nope. Banned. Banned. Get out.
And
Dude, it's amazing.
So, anyways, about the Xbox Games Showcase. Now, though, like, I think over the other stuff that they had unveiled, though, I'm just going to move on like nothing happened, Jordan. You're bad.
bad.
I'm gonna get the spray bottle with the water in it.
Not gonna lie though, Psychonauts 2
Ooh, yeah.
kind of made me pretty happy.
It had a really hype trailer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed Jack Black and the song. I don't know if that was actually Tenacious D or not.
So
To be
that
honest, I know for a fact it had Jack Black as a singer, but I didn't see what's his name? What's the other guy?
I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
I Cage. Well, no, I think that's just his name in the movie.
Yeah, yeah, the actual person behind.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't
His name's on
there,
the tip of my tongue.
but it's still completely possible that it was Tenacious D that sung the song. I mean, that made the song. So, but I will admit it was pretty hype. Even though it kind of made us think that it was Brutal Legends 2 because of it.
Well,
But
like I knew it. I knew it was.
Kyle,
Oh,
that's his name.
how?
Yeah,
Sorry.
like I knew it was not going to be Brutal Legend, but at the same time, I don't know. You see Double Fine, you see Jack Black, and my favorite game when I was like 13 years old cries out to me.
Brutal Legends.
Oh man.
God, I'm still holding out for a second one. I know people say it's never gonna happen, but I'm still holding out for it.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay, Matt. I hold out for Overlord 3 and get disappointed every single year. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we got Stalker 2.
well, yeah, Stalker 2 was already announced though, and I find it funny because I think back to when they first announced the game, and the reaction was, "Okay, you announced Stalker 2 with a JPEG. Call me when the game is out," because it's like they just literally posted a logo like a year, 2 years ago. That was that. Like nothing else. They just post a JPEG and they're like, "We're working on Stalker 2." Okay. I'll believe it when I see it.
It looks pretty nice though. Gotta
Oh
admit.
yeah. Yeah, so it's like I'm glad we're finally getting to see a bit of it.
It's very atmospheric. I like the way it felt.
I like how Stalker's atmosphere with how its different like surrealist distortions of reality work. Like they're just so iconic that anybody who has seen them from Stalker knows immediately. Yeah, that weird shifting blob in the air. This means it's Stalker. So that was a really fun unveil. I think I was also quite surprised by a couple of days ago. Square Enix announced that they had a new action game brand, quote unquote, called the Balan Company. And so, if they say that this is their action game brand, I was like, okay, is this going to be their attempt to take on, like, you know, your Platinum, your Devil May Cry, that style of studio? But it's not necessarily a studio, it's a brand, they said. And I'm like, that's weird. Especially since the whole thing has this, like, musical theater theme to it. And I'm like, what type of action game are they going to announce with this? And my expectations were thrown out the window, fell into the street, run over by a semi truck, and then its remains were scraped off the road and thrown into the river. Because instead of like any any type of thing that I would associate with an action game, they put Yuji Naka on screen and say he's making a 3D platformer. It's this really cutesy, wonderful, fun-looking, childish 3D platformer, and I'm like, I like this.
Not gonna lie, I don't dislike it.
Same.
I love it, honestly. That's like my expectations being, you know, brutally murdered in an alleyway have nothing to
Yeah.
do with me liking or disliking it, because like it wasn't what I expected. I'm glad Yuji Naka seems to be having the time of his life. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Looks really good.
Yeah.
Um, very very fun to me how there were multiple 3D platformers at this show. One of them was Psychonauts 2, the other directed by Yuji Naka. No one knows what year it is anymore.
It's 2020.
Oh, well,
Whoa,
thank you,
what?
Jordan.
I thought it was 2013, dude. That's
I
news to
wish.
me.
Yeah, it's 2013. Games still come out in only two colors, gray and green.
You're right. You're right.
What?
Oh man, do you not even remember Last Generation, Jordan?
Yeah.
Do you not even remember
Had
any
more
game?
Demosty, dog.
I mean, that was a PS2 game,
Yeah.
and that
Came
was
out before 2013.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. But the last gen of games for like your mainline AAA releases was very colorless and lifeless, and it's very fun to see
Oh yeah, wasn't that because everything was trying to go for the realism look?
more than just realism, I would say. It all started, I think, really with a series that I do dearly love. I like Gears of War a lot. I'm not going to begin to pretend that Gears 1 being what it was and Unreal Engine 3 doing best with games that look kind of, like a mud puddle. Um, I'm not going to pretend that didn't have any influence on the industry at the time. Half of it was realism, the other half was, I'm going to say it. Um, in TV shows, you know how, like, if they show, like, and I'm talking about your mainline CBS TV show, specifically aimed at baby boomers or whatever. However, whenever they show Mexico, Afghanistan, Iraq, etc. on screen, um, it's got the same color grading. It's this like brown with a slight tint of green sometimes when you go up towards the horizon color grading that I more or less just refer to as the shithole color grading. This was the video game equivalent of that for an entire generation, because it wasn't as much realism, because real life has a lot of color. It was
Yeah.
not as much realism as it was TV cinematicism. I'm making up terms on the fly here, but you get what I mean.
Yep,
Um,
I definitely get that.
yeah, it was a weird time, and I'm kind of glad we're moving in the exact opposite direction. I'm not necessarily fond of how, say, Fortnite looks, but it doesn't have any soul. They still have to work on that part, but it has way more color to it, and it looks far more aesthetically pleasing to me than, say, what was it? Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Gears of War 1. No, not Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2. Gears of War 1 was a horror game and it had a lot of stuff from that I did really like. But Gears of War 2 especially, I think. Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. It's just depressing to look at. I love that game, though.
The game's very depressing.
I mean, yeah.
That's beside the point.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
beside
just
the...
about every game is just depressing.
Hmm.
War's not a fun time, bro.
Hmm. But but it didn't fit every game it was applied to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I will say though, there was some games that wasn't recently announced, but was announced earlier in the year that I had pretty hype for.
Oh yeah.
One of them I just recently saw, today actually,
Hmm.
that I'm actually interested in waiting for. It's called Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's a long name.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
that name is like legally mandated by the people over at World of Darkness, I think.
Yeah, well,
Because
I looked up Werewolf the Apocalypse. Apparently, there's a game that came out in like 1998.
oh wow.
So I think this is kind of like a
Either a remake or a sequel or
yeah.
something.
Well, I think it's original because it's developed by Cyanide. And Cyanide is a very interesting little group of developers. I believe you could best describe their work as and this is not nothing against them. It's just it is what it
Oh
is.
wait, no, it's
It's
a role
Eurojank,
playing game, is what it is.
which appears. Wait, the original or the new one?
The original one. Apparently, yeah. There's a first edition. It came out in 1992. Second edition came out in
Yeah, yeah.
1994.
Um,
2000 is the revised edition. 2013's 20th anniversary edition, and then 2021's fifth edition.
yeah, no, this is I mean, this is another World of Darkness title, just like Vampire the Masquerade. And World of Darkness really does seem to be going all out with trying to license more and more of their series out to video games. Like we got
Like you said,
Bloodlines.
it's World of Darkness.
Yeah, that's
That's
the overarching brand for these.
oh
They've got
oh
Vampire the
yeah, sure enough, it
Masquerade.
is set in the World of Dark. Sure enough, I
Yeah,
didn't even know that.
yeah,
Yeah, I did notice that it had like a similar like the way they had their title thing set up. It
yep,
looked exactly similar to Vampire the Masquerade
yeah,
Swan Song. So, cause I saw those and I was like, huh, Vampire has a masquerade, but werewolves have the apocalypse.
yeah, yeah. It's the same company. Um, they've
I will admit that like they have a gameplay trailer for at least Werewolf the Apocalypse. Oh, they also have one for Vampire the Masquerade. But I saw the werewolf one. And it seemed to be kind of like a hack and slash game, but it had some stealth elements to it.
Yeah, I'm expecting an enjoyable little Eurojank title, which again, it is what it is. I hold nothing against European developers with nothing but a little bottle of vodka in their pockets to take a swig from during development. But I don't have like exceptionally high hopes. I just think it's going to be fun, which
I mean,
is
that's all we can really hope for, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like, there's games you go for different things. Like I go to like your Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and like that's a series that's like it is broken to all get out, but at least the first game is. We'll see how the second game turns out. I'm hoping it's a little less busted. Um, but I go to that for a very enjoyable, very deep role playing experience. Very good RPG. Um, I don't think that's what I'm going to be going to Werewolf for, though I definitely do think I am going to pick it up. Um,
I might.
but yeah, I think over other things that were announced, that stuff we'd enjoy talking about that wasn't fully picked up on with the podcast going on its little miniature hiatus. Um, so for the past 3 months, I've been planning to make a joke about the Tony Hawk remake. And I've held on to it for 3 months. It's not even funny anymore. But I've been waiting for 3 months, 3 painful months, to say this joke about Tony Hawk. So I'm going to wait 5 more minutes. I'm going to take a sip of water. Matt, talk about the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game.
I think it's bullcrap that they're hiding story behind rhythm game, but you know what? I'm gonna play it anyways because I will consume any content that Nomura gives me. Give it to me, inject it straight into my bloodstream.
Hmm.
That's about all I gotta say. Although I won't lie, no, the rhythm game does look pretty fun.
Hmm. Yeah, it does seem neat. And Kingdom Hearts has enough music that's so incredibly cool to justify
Yeah.
it. I think it looks fun. That's my take on that. Though the Tony Hawk remakes, man, I need to look up again the actual full title of that. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, um, which is done by Vicarious Visions, which Activision has done a lot of remakes with lately, but with Spyro, Crash, etc. But this is the third remaster of the original two games. There was Pro Skater 2X by Treyarch in 2001, and then Pro Skater HD by Robomoto in 2012, which was horrendous. Um, and so, yeah, it should be quite interesting. They've got like almost all the licensed songs back, so a lot of the same old vibes are going to be there.
Yeah.
I think they're only missing out on like 5 or 6 songs. And they've got all the pro skateboarders from the first two games that can return in the remaster, though they will appear at their current age. I found it very interesting that if you attempt to play as Tony Hawk and go to a skate park, they ask you if you're Tony Hawk first.
What?
See, I knew that one would fall flat.
What?
Tony Hawk's entire life after Tony Hawk Pro Skater has just been
Oh,
himself
yeah.
getting seen
People-
at random locations and getting asked, "Hey, are you
Yes,
Tony Hawk?"
Tony Hawk, yep.
Usually, it's people. It's just like, hey, Tony Hawk, like the famous skateboarder. Exactly. It's just like, I wonder what he's doing now. They talk to him like he's not Tony Hawk because they don't think he is. They don't. It's not that they see him like, hey, is that Tony Hawk? No, it's they see him. They go like, hey, your name's just like the famous skateboarder.
Right,
They don't think
right.
he's actually the famous skateboarder.
I guess I can work on my humor. But the thing is, above all else,
It just went over my head. This is not no fault on you.
it's my
Don't
fault,
worry.
Matt. I'm gonna have this guilt for the rest of my life.
Oh
Too
man,
late.
that's not healthy.
Oh, well, too bad. But
Damn.
anyways, though, it's like I really do like the Tony Hawk games. I'm glad they're coming back. Tony Hawk himself, however, is living in the bad ending to an RPG, where he has been cursed by an ancient wizard, and no one can really remember him all the way. It every time they do, it's partial, and the only reason for this is a witch's curse. I mean, you're gonna see like reaction videos. People are gonna boot up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2, and they're gonna say, "Hey, that guy looks like Tony Hawk," and then they're going to close the game because there's nothing better to do. Ugh.
Not gonna lie though, I am definitely hyped for it. That was my childhood.
Oh yeah,
Skating games were absolutely my childhood.
Yeah.
I was into more than just skating. I was
Well,
into
that-
extreme sports in general. Which bring those back. That was a fun trend that died about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I want to blame, what was it? The Triple X biking game. That was
Oh,
probably part of the thing that ended it.
oh no, I'm not listen, Jordan. Jordan, we're not thinking about that on the show tonight. We're not thinking.
No
about
one
that.
ever wants to think about that game because that game was trash.
So I'm going down the list I have here of some other games that got announced. Like there was Samurai Jack Battle Through Time, which I think that one's releasing in August now. They just dropped a trailer the other day. I'm going to be very careful with the play button here to mute tab because I don't want to mess that up. Yeah, they said it's coming August 21st. That's going to be for PS4, Xbox, Switch, and both Steam and the Epic Games Store.
Oh. I hadn't actually heard about that.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking game. Seems like a decently enjoyable enough action game that covers content from each season of Samurai Jack and lets you relive a bunch of iconic moments.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I hope it's good. I really do. Samurai Jack is one of my favorite series in all of existence at this point, I think.
It's really good.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really good, though.
And it's survived the cynicism that has destroyed my appreciation of many of the things I liked in childhood, because it is unironically good. There's no other way to slice and dice it. Now, thinking of other things that I would like to slice and dice. Actually, no. Before I get to this topic, I think I'll talk on one last game that I'm interested in, and then if you guys have anything else, you can talk about it.
Okay.
But am I the only one in this call right now that has played Fate Extra?
I think you are.
Yeah.
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 I think you are.
Okay then. Okay.
8 extra.
Let me take another sip of water.
Is that part of like the Fate?
Yes. Yes, it is in the same series, though not same timeline as Fate Stay Night.
Okay.
Now, oh, you've got another question? Go on.
I was gonna say the only actual Fate thing like that I've done is like the phone game.
Oh, you've also fallen into Gotcha Hell. How's it feel?
Like I haven't touched it in like a year.
Same actually. Same actually.
So it's not really falling into anything. I just kind of stopped being interested in it. So,
Hmm.
um,
But
I
yeah,
will admit though
yeah, Fate.
that it
Oh,
is an interesting like plot. So, like, is the game specifically you're talking about? What exactly? What type of game was it?
Fate Extra was a turn-based RPG that released on the PlayStation Portable in like 2010. And its combat system was effectively just tic-tac-toe, and it looks like the remake of it that they just announced a couple of days back is in fact like it seems to be completely different. I have not played Fate Extra in so long that I don't like remember how its battle UI looked, but I saw the one in the trailer and it looked like it had way more options than I ever remembered having in the original game. So should be cool. I'm curious to see what they do with it. Fate Extra was an incredibly simple and incredibly satisfying, for me at least, RPG. The plot was cool, and even if the Fate series at large has never been necessarily one of my favorites, um, I liked Extra a lot. And yes, you can make a joke about Nero's window skirt, which is still one of the silliest designs I've seen in a video game.
Wait, what? I have no
Oh,
context to what that
Yeah, I
is.
don't
see,
even know what you're talking about.
so okay, I'm going to ask you guys not to look it up because on Tuesday, we're going to have Scott on the podcast if all works out. Um, and this Tuesday, you can be the first ones to ask Scott, Scott, what's a window skirt?
All right, I'll try to avoid any spoilers on it then.
Yeah, you can do
Alright.
your best, my friend. I
I
believe in
take a
you.
wild guess that it's a skirt that has like a window pane in it.
You'd be close.
I'd be close. Does it have like blinds at the very least?
I wish.
Uh that would have been funny.
It's
I
still one of the stupidest designs I've seen in my life, so don't worry about it until I want you to worry about it. But anyways, the next topic I had up on the docket was if you guys are okay with moving on and you guys don't have anything else you're interested in that's happened over the past couple months, so with regards to video game announcements.
I mean, there was the Ghostwire Tokyo game.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely talk about that one.
That
that
one I
game.
have been interested in ever since it was announced over a month ago. It I have no idea what it's gonna be about, but just I've watched the trailer twice now, and both times I don't have any better understanding on what it's about, but it interests me.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be a really fun game to play because it seemed like to have some pretty good
Seems like an action
combat.
slash horror game. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to describe it. It's it's and also weird actually. Yeah, weird is just the best way to
Yeah,
describe it.
yeah. It's very strange, and I like it.
Oh man. And that game was announced at the PlayStation 5 unveiling, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I don't suppose thinking over it, I don't really have too much to say about the PlayStation 5 announcement, other than I find it incredibly funny how both Sony and Microsoft are playing a huge game of chicken to see who can avoid announcing their price, and release date for that matter. I think both of them want to just delay as hard as possible, not just so that one can undercut the other, but also to buy themselves just a little more time to get that final bit of polish in, because I am expecting the party that goes second to almost try a Sega Saturn situation where you try so hard to one up your competitor that you just rush things out the door, not with regards to product quality. Product quality is probably already there and done. Retailer availability is going to be the big thing. And I feel like we're going to hit a point maybe where, if we're to be honest, if Microsoft goes second, they would probably try and do this, where they're just like, the Xbox Series X will be available next week, I guess. Just like something like that, where it was at an old trade show. Maybe it was E3. Maybe it was pre E3 even existing, where the Sega Saturn I think it was that the Saturn had announced their price, Sony undercut them. It's actually no. The PlayStation had announced their price, and then in an attempt to undercut them and undercut their hype, Sega had announced that they announced the price of the Sega Saturn, which was lower than the PlayStation, if memory serves. Or no, I think they had just announced actually out of the blue, the Saturn is out right now. Just like with no fanfare, no marketing build-up, nothing. The Saturn is out
Just the
now.
Saturn's out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might have the other details more fuzzy, so I'll avoid committing to them, but they've just like out of absolutely nowhere at all like that. And I feel like we would never see that again. But we absolutely could see something along the lines of next week our console releases because we hate the other guys. Holiday 2020 is right now, baby. Now, maybe we won't see that due to COVID making transportation even more difficult than this would be in a normal situation. But both of them are so desperate to undercut each other that we are, at best, 5 months out from new consoles. And that's like as long as things can go out. And we have not heard about pre-order at all. We've not heard about price. We've not heard about, the actual release date. There's some speculation that the Series X would be November 13th because Yakuza 7 will be a launch title, and its release date was leaked to be November 13th. Now, that could just mean that it has an Xbox Series X version out on store shelves on day one of the Series X's lifetime. But who knows? I really feel like it's not set in stone yet because they are just so desperate again to be the guy that does it before the other guy and for less money.
Yeah. Also, they announced Yakuza 7. I thought Yakuza 6 was supposed to be the last one.
With Kiryu, yeah, but
okay, they're doing
7,
new characters.
yeah, 7 is a turn-based
Okay.
RPG, which is really fun because the series had so many, like RPG isms in the first place, like random encounters and stuff. It's really cool. So I like it. I hope that it's good. I'm excited to play it after I get through all the other games in that franchise. I've been playing through Zero lately, and I really need to get to more of that. But yeah, that's the PlayStation 4, I guess. I mean, I can't comment much on the
talking about the
hardware itself.
Wi-Fi router?
Yeah, I can't comment much on the hardware itself. I mean, it looks like a fan-made mock-up render from the year 2006 for what the PlayStation 3 would have looked like.
There were a lot of those.
Yeah. The Xbox, however, does not look like the floating orb that the Xbox 720 was supposed to be, according to my uncle who works for Nintendo. So who knows?
Yeah.
Funny, mine does too.
I don't have an uncle.
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, if he did, he'd probably work at Nintendo.
Man.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I do have an uncle, and he actually is he's a gamer.
Oh.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Close enough.
I forgot my aunt got married, so I technically have an uncle.
My uncle's a gamer as well, but I don't associate with him, so
I will avoid
fair.
making certain comments on a public podcast.
yep.
Oh.
Oh
So
no.
therefore, I have an imaginary uncle who works at Nintendo. He's a
It's
million times
it's really
better.
nice of Nintendo to have their uncle hiring program.
Yes.
Second, that you provide proof that you've got a niece or nephew, you're in. It's really accepting. I like it.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah, I always thought that was like a weird thing whenever someone's like, yes, I have a family member who works there, and it's just like, so what?
My dad owns Microsoft.
My dad is Bill Yates. That's close enough.
Not gonna lie, if someone's dad was Bill Gates, they wouldn't be in the same school I'm at.
Yo.
Not gonna lie, if Bill Gates was there, it wouldn't be at the specific school I'm at. He would have been like his own private school, learning how to code at like 2.
At 2.
Just oh man, and if he learned how to
Baby's
code,
first coding.
hey, and if he learned how to code, he could finally afford next gen games because guess what, baby? $70 standard retail price.
Yep.
End my suffering. Um, I have a feeling that this might not catch on just yet because so far the only publisher trying to push their next gen games at $70 is 2K. And 2K is 2K. They are horrible, money hungry, grubby.
Yeah, they are.
A variety of other words I won't say on a live stream that my mother could see. If my mother was somehow inclined to find a show called Gamer underscore 3 times Zone. But then you have like Ubisoft very clearly seeing the bad reaction to this in the midst of a PR scandal that apparently their entire company has been run by rampant sexists for years who have deemed that they cannot have female protagonists because they will be considered an immediate financial flop even if they're Assassin's Creed games, which is quite honestly ridiculous. But they have decided that their games on next gen, at the very least at this holiday season, as they evaluate the current market, will be $60. So far, even like I don't think EA has announced anything too expensive yet either. So I really do think that for AAA, right now it's just 2K, being 2K. But we'll see. I've got a feeling that if 2K sticks to their guns, this could very much open up some opportunities for something pretty expensive in the future, which makes stuff like the end of the Microsoft event today more impactful for me at least, where they dropped the bombshell multiple times throughout the show and especially repeated it towards the end that every single game shown off at Microsoft's not E3 press conference will be available on Xbox Game Pass day one. And that's huge. That's effectively $10 a month to play every single game at the show.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest, this version of Dragon Quest that's from the Switch with all the improvements, that's like $60 on Switch right now. Or I can just wait and play it with my subscription in December. And I can play that on my Xbox at 4K. Crazy,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Because spending $60 on a game for the average American is not readily feasible. And I get why they're $60. I could understand arguments for a move to 70 if they weren't being made by a company that fills their game with microtransactions that make them millions, if not billions of dollars. So, forgive me for having little to no sympathy for the people at 2K that manage these sports titles. Were it a purely single-player experience with no microtransactions, no downloadable content, etc., that just has to stand on its own 2 legs, then maybe I can understand something like that for a AAA release, but youch. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way all the games are heading nowadays. It's just microtransactions.
I disagree. I'm inclined to disagree. If you look beyond that, like current veneer of the top-end AAA, you'll see that there's a lot of better devs underneath. And a lot of them are even in the AAA space. Like, let's see. Like, I think they even announced Star Wars Squadrons, which is a dogfighting game, out of all things, is not going to have microtransactions. I
Thank
think,
God.
yeah. And then, of course, they're immediately ruled out loot boxes and etc. I'm trying to think of a few others lately, but you look at like even some of the games that were announced today at the Xbox show or shown off again, like that horror game, The Medium.
Yeah. Oh
pretty
God, I almost forgot about that one. That one's a big thing that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's like really
Yeah.
impressive, Silent Hill inspired. It has the composer for the Silent Hill games working on it as well.
Yeah.
They're not going to shove microtransactions in that.
I
There's-
hope not.
So far.
There's no way to. Literally no way to.
Dude, they could just add
You-
horse armor, bro.
You were killed. Pay $10 to revive now.
Yeah. Thank you, Let It Die.
Oh, man. But, like, so long as they stick away from free-to-play titles or the highest-end AAA games that are designed to suck your money out of you, like those, air quotes, games-as-a-service titles that are little more than Skinner boxes, um, you come out pretty okay, I'd say. Um,
Yeah.
So, like, well, there's a lot of them that do. Yeah, I wouldn't say the whole industry goes that way. Especially, I think I can say that after looking at the Switch's library, and you could say, sure, the Switch is an exception, I guess, but I don't know, man. There's a high amount of high quality games that don't require nickel and diming me at every step of the way, so I don't think I can complain that much, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I got you.
yeah. But so that's my humble little take on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that the next generation of gaming is going to be exceptionally interesting from a couple of perspectives. I mean, what with how you see, the rollout of everything in the midst of likely an ongoing global pandemic, um, which is going to leave I have a feeling, just a deep feeling that should the economic effects of something disastrous from the virus ongoing still be around. Though I could be wrong because like gaming spending has gone through the roof because people have less things to spend money on right now.
Yeah.
But I think of all the people who have lost their jobs or lost hours due to this thing, and I can't help but wonder if we won't see significantly lower sales for a $400-$500 console at the beginning of all this.
Yeah.
I feel like launch day is going to be a lot less successful.
Than what they're hoping.
Yeah,
Doesn't surprise
Not
me.
gonna lie. This may be the first generation of consoles that I don't hop on immediately to buy.
yeah, likewise.
I usually wait till there's more options.
I've
on
always
something.
been that guy that hops on the new console generation as soon as it's released, but this generation, I don't think I will.
Yeah. See, I'm more than likely. I'm probably just going to chill with my PC.
I don't know what I'm gonna
If
do.
there's like any like major exclusives where I need one of the new consoles for, I might end up getting one of them, but it'd be a while.
I think that I'm going to wait until there is a Series X exclusive that really hooks me to buy that. Because I want one. Don't get me wrong. Especially because like I'm all in on Xbox games digitally, and they've got stuff like I believe it's called Avowed that Obsidian showed off earlier
Yeah,
today.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
it was.
yeah, that game heavily reminded me of Arx Fatalis, which is a good thing, and it is very clearly the project in and it's in the Pillars of Eternity universe. I wasn't sure on that at first, um, but it is when I can't remember who the studio head was or is of Obsidian that went on an interview like a year or two ago. This was like just before the Microsoft buyout, and he said something that was along the lines of, if we had money, I would love to develop Pillars of Eternity, but it's Skyrim. And then they get bought out by Microsoft. And then here is this first person RPG in Pillars of Eternity's universe with
Yep.
a AAA budget. Huh. Wonder what that could be.
And from the little bit we saw of it, we didn't see a whole lot, but from the little bit we saw, I am really intrigued. It piqued my interest.
It looked nice.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, sigil casting for magic is cool stuff, so I am
Yeah,
more than excited to see more of that.
yeah, I'm interested to see how that works,
Yeah.
like mechanically.
Yeah, and they said that was Series X exclusive. They said that the Fable reboot, maybe, is Series X exclusive. We only saw a short teaser of that.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Shinobi, a long trusted Reset Era / NeoGAF insider, who is consistently right. Excuse me, I need more water. a little dried out after talking so much today. Um, but he said that prior to COVID, this was supposed to be the blowout where Microsoft unveiled quite literally every single project they were working on, and they had to scale it down significantly. So every single thing that was even in like pre-production was going to get shown off at once to reassure people that yes, Xbox has games, yes, they're coming. So we saw a couple short teasers today, like State of Decay 3, which is in pre-production right now. Um,
Hmm.
then we also saw the Fable teaser, of course, which is just getting going. But there was apparently supposed to be way more. A lot of stuff got cut out that was supposed to be there. So I cannot help but wonder what that is, you know? Um, I'm going to be very interested to see more in the future of all this.
Yeah.
But until like those games are out, I don't know if I'll have much reason to go for the Series X just yet. Um, like I was like, if Halo Infinite is some visual powerhouse, then you know what? I probably want to see it on there. And then I look at Halo Infinite and I say to myself, you know what? This is not the powerhouse I was looking for. So maybe I'll wait for Forza Horizon 5 or something.
But
So,
I mean, hey, yo, you know you're gonna want to get that Xbox so you can play some Hello Neighbor 2.
end my suffering, Matthew. End my
Uh,
suffering.
Yeah, Hello Neighbor 2 might be a place to call it, not gonna lie. 'Cause after Hello Neighbor 2, I don't think there's any game that could surpass that.
that is the pinnacle of gaming.
Yeah,
The
man.
pinnacle of video games. Ugh.
Dude, all they need is a cowboy crossover, and then like that game's perfect.
I'm thinking over other stuff, and most of what I can think of off the top of my head is from today, if we're going to be honest here, just because that's all fresh in my mind.
There was that new survival game, Grounded.
Oh yeah, Grounded was already announced and is going for a beta release in just like 4 days, I think. And
On
Grounded
the
does
'28th.
seem cute. I like the idea. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm not one for survival games always, but it's Honey I Shrunk the Kids, the video game.
yeah. It actually seems to be pretty unique. It's not. It doesn't seem like a paper cutout copy of every other one.
Right, right. So I like that idea. Maybe we'll even play a little bit of that on the stream since it is on Game Pass.
Yep, and it'll be coming out in 5 days on the 28th.
I also find it kind of neat actually thinking it over. They announced that every single Destiny expansion was coming to Game Pass.
Yeah,
Oh,
Um,
that's nice.
yeah, that might actually make me try picking that game up again, but there's an emphasis on try here. Um,
I enjoyed the game. Me and Dylan actually played through it a while back. We went all the way up to what was the newest expansion at the time? It was what was it called? It was the last one before the new one.
Shadowkeep?
Shadowkeep, yep.
when Destiny came out, I had no way of having a stable internet connection, so I had a real grudge on that game for being a console game that required internet.
Hmm.
So I just never ended up playing it because of that grudge.
I only played it on PC, so
I played the original Destiny quite a bit. I wasn't heavy into it or anything, but I enjoyed what I had played. Um, and then Destiny 2 rolled around. I played a little bit of that, and I was like, this is pretty good. Let me never touch it again. And then I tried a couple times to get into it, and it was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not vibing fully with it.
yeah.
Um, Likewise, honestly, with Phantasy Star Online 2, which I played like 20, 22, 23 hours of during beta and then release, and I like it a lot. But I was also just like, huh, I love playing this game. Let me never touch it again. Which is mostly, I think, tied to just, I think a lot of what they threw in with Phantasy Star Online 2 was lots and lots of free to play stuff, free to play isms that were very popular in 2012 when the game released in Japan. And they're huge turnoffs for me, especially after playing FF14 so much, which is a true premium MMO. Um, in spite of, yes, it has a cash shop, but that's not even within the game itself. And there's so many other things that's and I mentioned this too before when talking about Elder Scrolls Online, that I don't know. The ones that like feature like inventory expansions you can purchase and stuff,
Yeah,
and they shove it in your face so much. I don't know. That's just kind of a turn off for me. I don't like
I
it.
played a bit of Elder Scrolls Online recently. I
It's
got
not a bad
a.
game, but I
It's not a
just
bad game. It's just I don't know. So something didn't sit right with me when I was
yeah,
playing it.
yeah. That's about how I felt. I would also say, let's see. Um, though they didn't actually announce a Phantasy Star Online 2 thing today. That no
Yeah,
one
they
really
did.
knows. Really, no one really knows what it is. I don't think it's called New Genesis, and it appears to be like an underlying tech rework to the game. You will get to keep your characters, and it depends. I don't know if it's like Phantasy Star Online 3 in all but name or what, but it looked different enough for me. So I'm very interested in that. I hope it's good. I hope it cuts down on some of the gunk that I didn't enjoy about the second game, which is still a very good game. Don't get me wrong. Just wasn't what I felt like playing.
It looked really cool. I've never played any of the Fantasy Star Online, so seeing that on that trailer, it got me interested.
The Phantasy Star Online 1, I would say, is not only just a really good MMO, it's kind of like peak Dreamcast era Sega.
Yeah.
And we played that a little bit actually as a group. So it's like if you ever want to join in on that, I mean, I know we can get Brad on that for sure. He loves it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a small game too, because Dreamcast doesn't really leave you with too terribly much for file size.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really think that I've got too terribly much more to talk about, and I don't know if I really can go on much longer. I think I need to get more water at this rate.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like,
I mentioned all the things I was excited about.
hmm Jordan, you got any words of wisdom for us in this day and age?
No.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I think we can call it there for our little summer wrap up and our return to the GamerZone podcast. Short as it may be, and short a person. Um, but I think we, had a good time. It's good to do this again. Good to talk with you guys, and
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
here's to many, many more. Anyone else? And then, nice.
Gamers out.
Yeah, that's an outro. Let's go on that one.
Gamers out.
Yeah.
Gamers
Gamers
out.
Gamers out.
out.